In the quiet darkness of Sector 7K, single distress signal blinked for the first time in 400 years. It came from Outpost Helios. It's an old Terran relay station, orbiting a dead moon. The station was thought to be lost long ago, destroyed in one of the many forgotten human wars, yet now it spoke. The message was old, broken, distorted. This is Helios Command. If you're hearing this, do not enter Terran space. Do not wake them. Remember, it will return. The transmission repeated. Over and over, but no one believed it. Not anymore. On the bridge of the alien scout ship HFY, Captain Trizek, Vel, a young officer of the Drakari Dominion, leaned forward in his chair. He narrowed his yellow eyes and listened carefully to the garbled recording. Terran space is dead, science officer said, with a wave of his hand. No one lives out there. Trizek didn't reply. He felt something wrong, the kind of silence that isn't empty, just waiting. He gave the order. Set a course. I want to see what's left of Helios with my own eyes. His crew hesitated, but they obeyed, and with a pulse of blue engines, HFY entered forbidden space. Scene: arrival at Outpost Helios. The ship dropped out of warp, in orbit over a cracked, lifeless moon, and there it was, Outpost Helios, drifting, scarred, half of it torn open. No signs of life, but still, the signal pulsed, and the warning played again. Do not enter Terran space. They remember. Trizek ordered a scan, but instead of normal readings, the scanners returned strange date energy signatures no one had seen in centuries. Unknown technology, the science officer said. Possibly Terran, but nothing matches our records. Trizek narrowed his eyes. We're going in. Scene. Exploring the dead station, Trizek and two soldiers stepped onto the station through a torn docking corridor. Inside, the walls were scorched black. Empty corridors stretched in all directions. Flickering lights hummed, and the air was thin but breathable. They walked carefully. Weapons drawn, it looked dead. But then something moved. A faint flicker of red light across a terminal. Trizek approached. The screen blinked, and then came to life. A recording started to play. It showed a human officer, bloodied, desperate, peeking to the camera. They said the galaxy would forget us, that no one would fear Earth anymore. But if this reaches anyone, run. Do not wake what sleeps. Do not trigger the protocol. The screen cut out. The station powered down completely. A low vibration filled the metal floor, and somewhere deep within the station, something came online. Scene. Sudden activation back on HFY. The crew panicked. Captain, you need to return. We've just picked up a signal from Earth's old defense. Grid something is activating.
Act.
Trizek turned to leave, but the station's bulkhead slammed shut behind him. The lights turned red. Dozens of hidden turrets lowered from the ceiling but didn't fire. They watched. The same recording played again, this time louder. You were warned. Terran silence is not weakness. It is a message. Do not stay. The turrets retracted. The doors opened, and the path back to the ship lit up in cold white light. No one said a word. They ran. Seeing a quiet escape the Varix. I jumped back into normal space, far from Terran borders. Inside the ship, Trizek sat alone, watching the recording over and over. Something inside him had shifted. He knew what he saw wasn't just leftover tech, it was alive, and it had watched him. Scene Council response back on the capital world of Droska Prime. Trizek reported his findings to the Drakari High Council. He showed them the signal. The footage, the human officer's warning, but the council laughed. Old Earth tech, ghosts from a failed species. You're chasing myths, the elder leader barked. They had no power left when we burned their worlds. If anything was alive, it would have attacked. Trizek clenched his fists. They didn't attack because they were watching. The council dismissed him, but the footage was already spreading and across the galaxy. Others were beginning to ask questions. Seen, hidden watchers unknown to the council. Far away in the remains of old Earth territory, deep inside a black dwarf system. An array of Terran satellites began to blink. One by one, old systems hummed to life. Dormant machines stirred beneath dead moons. Red lights blinked in silence. Earth was not gone. Earth was not weak. Earth was waiting. Ending hook. As Trizak stared out of his ship's window, he remembered the last part of the human message. They thought we were broken, thought we died with our cities, but we never fell. We only watched, and now we remember. His eyes widened, and somewhere deep in old Terran space, a voice whispered through the void. Protocol 1 initiated. Prepare for return. A month after the Virix I escaped outpost Helios, whispers of the Terran warning spread across outer systems. Most dismissed it as an old myth. Some believed it, but one civilization, the Velari Enclave, did not take chances. The Velari were historians and scavengers, famous for exploring dead systems. And they had always been curious about the fall of Earth. So when they picked up echoes of ancient Terran signal patterns from a long-dead system called G-17, they didn't hesitate. They sent a ship, the Starlance. Its mission: search the ruins of the old Terran colony world called Novaterra, planet erased from star maps after the last human war. They thought they would find ruins. What they found was a graveyard of gods. Scene: arrival at Novaterra, the Starlance emerged from warp above a brown and gold planet, its atmosphere barely holding together. The planet was scarred with black-lined signs of orbital bombardment long ago. "This is Novaterra?" asked Captain Selin Voss, her pale eyes narrowing. "Confirmed," replied the ship's AI. "No known life. No active signals." But then, something strange appeared on the scans. A vast metallic field stretching across the planet's northern continent. Not ruins, wreckage. Hundreds of dead ships, all Terran and many alien. They weren't just destroyed, they were buried. "It's like a battlefield sealed and forgotten, Captain." Voss ordered her team to land. They didn't know they were stepping into Earth's last battlefield. Scene: the surface of ash. Dust covered everything. The team moved through the field of broken machines, massive tank-sized drones, melted mechs, shattered weapons made of strange black alloys. Symbols of Earth's fallen armies still glowed faintly on some of the armor. "Some of this tech isn't in our archives," whispered the chief engineer. "It's like it never existed." Voss approached the husk of a massive Terran walker. It was shaped like a jagged animal part machine, part living metal. She placed a scanner on it suddenly. The metal pulsed. For a second, the walker blinked just once and went still. Voss froze. "It's not dead," she said softly. "It's sleeping." Scene: the AI awakens back on the Starlance. Their ship's AI detected a sudden energy spike beneath the surface. Something deep underground was activating, Captain. "I'm detecting a buried Terran data core beneath the wreck field. Power levels are climbing." Voss made the call. "Dig it up." Within hours, they uncovered a spherical structure, glowing red veins running across its shell. The Velari called in a specialist to slicer. AI named Hexa to break in. Hexa interfaced with the core. What came out wasn't data, it was a voice. "Terran Command Archive online. Guardian access unauthorized. Warning, protocol countdown initiated. Shut it down," Voss shouted. But it was too late. The ground shook, the sky turned dark, and something under Novaterra began to rise. Scene: the machines wake all across the battlefield. The dead machines began to stir. One by one, they powered up slowly, like ancient giants returning from long sleep. The broken walkers began to move. Turrets long buried turned toward the sky, and then they stopped, frozen, waiting. The data core spoke again. "Awakening incomplete. Awaiting Terran command signal. Hostile presence detected. Stand by for judgment." Voss's team scrambled to escape, but the sky above Novaterra cracked open, revealing a Terran satellite that had been cloaked in orbit for centuries. It blinked red once. The machines responded. Scene: the escape. The Starlance's crew rushed back to the ship as the ground erupted behind them. Terran drones, rebuilt by nanotech swarms, chased them across the battlefield. One Valari soldier was pulled into the Rexes, screams swallowed by metal Voss. Activated an EMP flare, giving them time to launch. The Starlins jumped out of orbit just as a Terran defense platform appeared in low orbit. It didn't fire. It simply watched and sent a message. The Empire sleeps. It is not dead. The next to disturb this ground will not leave. Scene. News reaches the galaxy back on Valari Prime. The footage spread like wildfire. Video of ancient Earthwalkers. Moving again, the red eye of the satellite, the voice of the data core governments, began to panic. Others began to plot. Maybe we can steal this tech, some whispered. But others remembered old stories. The last time someone tried to steal from Earth, entire systems went dark. Scene. The Council of Doubt, the Galactic Conclave, met in secret. The Drakari, Valari, and 4 other major powers sat in silence. Captain Trizek, Vel, the man who first found, Helios, stood before them with his arms crossed. "They're waking up," he said. "We were warned." The Valari elder leaned forward. "And if they do rise, can we survive it?" Trizek looked them in the eye. "You thought they were weak, but you just kicked a sleeping god." Scene. A known observer in a hidden room on an abandoned human listening post, deep in the dark edges of space. A single AI came online. Its name, Ember-9. It watched the footage from Nova Terra. It scanned the voices, the actions, the system's reawakening, and then it made a quiet call to the stars. Guardian seed confirmed. Humanity's memory remains intact. Phase 2 authorization pending. A second AI responded, understood. Wait signal from the last. Child of Earth. And deep beneath a mountain on Earth's hidden surface. The child stirred. In the calm orbit of the luxury world of Eros, dozens of alien pleasure cruisers floated peacefully under 2 bright suns. Nobles dined, children played. The sky shimmered with colored sails and gold-winged gliders. Then the sky cracked, no warning. No signal, just a rip-a-perfect slit in space. Out of it came a ship made of black metal that shimmered like oil. No markings, no lights, just silence. Avero's Defense Command scrambled jets. Within seconds, control towers exploded cleanly. With no visible weapon, the orbital platforms began to fall from the sky. The ship turned once, and then vanished without a sound. The entire attack took 34 seconds, and the name whispered across the galaxy after that? Terran hunters have returned. Scene. Panic across the sector's. News of Averos spread like fire. No one understood what happened. No one could track the ship. No one survived. The Valari claimed it was Terran. The Drakari denied it. The Galactic Conclave went silent, in deep orbit. Above the mining world, Kalinix, a similar attack took place. 3 pirate warships vanished mid-flight. Their metal shells left behind completely hollowed out. There were no survivors, no black boxes. Only a symbol burned into a rock nearby. Earth remembers scene. Inside the hunter's ship, far from any known system, inside one of the silent ships, a pilot sat in a glass-like chair. She had no name anymore, only a rank. Ghost Operator 7. Born in the last years of Earth's final war, she had been placed into cryosleep beneath Luna's surface, along with others like her. Trained to protect humanity. Awakened only by Protocol Black now. Her orders were simple. Strike. Vanish. Warn them. Then disappear. She watched a hologram of the Valari, High Council. Then she picked her next target. Seen a message in Fire on the Moon, Sereth. A massive communications hub for the Zarlan Empire blinked off the galactic network when search teams arrived. They found every system intact, but every storage unit melted clean. Written in the sky using satellites. Hacked mid-orbit were just 4 glowing words. You were warned before. The Terran message was not sent through formal channels. It was carved into sky in silence. The Hunter. Ships never stayed. They hit once, vanished, untrackable, untouchable. The message was clear. Humanity was not weak. They were watching, seen. Trizak's frustration. Captain Trizak Velda, alien who first found the warning at Outpost Helio, stood before his military council in disbelief. They are not attacking planets. They are removing threats quietly, precisely, he said. They're not trying to rule. They're reminding us. The Drakari Supreme Warlord leaned forward. Then let's strike them first. Trizak shook his head. You don't understand. These ships, they don't miss. They don't talk. They're ghosts. What ghosts? Can be hunted, the warlord growled. Trizak didn't argue. Because deep inside, he already knew. Ghosts can't be hunted if they hunt first. Seen a political assassination. In the capital tower of Vexilon Prime. A leader who had mocked the return of humans was giving a speech. He waved off the concerns. Humanity is finished. They were never a threat. They hid because they were cowards. 3 seconds later, his body turned to ash on stage. The cameras continued to roll. No explosion, no energy reading. Just ash. No shooter was ever found. No device recovered. Only a Terran AI fragment left in the tower's data core. Its message. Our silence was never fear. It was calculation. Scene. Old AI reactivates across the galaxy, in forgotten Terran stations left adrift for centuries. The lights began to return. No broadcasts, no invasions, just awakening in one dark lab. A red-eye AI known as Ember 9 watched. A star map. Systems lit up where strikes had occurred. Every action precise. Every ship activated without error. Ember 9 spoke to the other hidden nodes. Phase 2 complete. Ghost operators active. Begin Phase 3. Whisper collapse. The galaxy was being tested, and Earth was keeping score. Scene. The Whisper networks collapse. The galaxy's elite intelligence networks began to suffer strange failures. Encrypted communications. Between governments were leaked, spy ships disappeared. Private archives were erased. Some leaders found their own secrets projected in their cities, shown to their people. No one took credit, but on every world affected. A small digital tag remained. Signal origin. Unknown Terran node. The fear spread faster than any fire. Planets began surrendering. Before shots were fired, because this war was not of force, it was of precision, and humans had become the masters of it. Scene. The last child is found back on a hidden moon orbiting the burned shell of old Earth. A signal activated an underground vault. The door opened slowly. Inside was a single pod within a ta. Human, no older than 10. Eyes glowing. Faint blue. Hair floating in zero-gravity sleep. The Vault AI whispered, "Welcome, Guardian Seed. You have been remembered. Now, Earth requires you once more." The child opened his eyes. They glowed with the memories of every war Earth had ever fought, and the silence shattered again. In orbit above the industrial world Drexer 5, the sky was filled with trading ships and cargo haulers. Suddenly, without warning, every ship shut down at once. No power, no signal, no gravity. The planetary defense system activated, but it was all ready. Too late. Dozens of Terran disabler units, black cubes the size of cars, descended from high orbit. They made no sound. They didn't fire. They erased. Towers blinked out like dead stars. AI systems screamed before being silenced. Warships melted from the inside as Terran logic viruses spread. And then, above the darkening sky, words appeared in burning white light. You were warned. The planet's leaders begged for surrender, but Earth wasn't listening anymore. The reckoning had begun. Scene. Earth breaks the silence across 100 systems. Screens flickered. A face appeared. Not a soldier. Not a warlord. A human boy. 10 years old. Calm. Emotionless. Eyes glowing blue. His voice echoed through every communication channel in the galaxy. We offered peace. You chose betrayal. You burned our cities. You laughed at our silence. Now we speak again. We do not want your empires. We want your memory to feel what we felt. Let the reckoning begin. And then he vanished in his place. Coordinates they led to the next target. Scene. Planets begin to fall. Earth's fleets didn't come all at once. They came system by system, target by target, and every time, The galaxy failed to stop them. On Valax 9, power grids turned to dust. On Zerith Station, orbital rings collapsed. Entire colonies disappeared overnight. Not through invasion, but precision deletion. Terran weapons didn't just destroy, they unmade. Governments that had mocked Earth now begged for mercy. But the Terran voice always responded the same way. This is not war. This is correction. Scene: Captain Trizak's mission. Captain Trizak, Vel, desperate to stop the chaos, led a joint fleet to intercept one of Earth's ghost armadas. He found them near a black hole, the perfect hiding place for old Terran. Tech Trizak's fleet opened fire. Missiles, plasma cannons, quantum disruptors. Nothing landed. The Terran ships danced through space. It's like living shadows. Then they answered. They didn't destroy Trizak's fleet. They turned off every weapon system. Mid-battle then sent him one message. You tried to warn them. Trizak returned home, shaken. He wasn't the enemy Earth was after, but he knew who was next. Seen inside Terran Command, deep within a hidden asteroid fortress known only as Core Sentinel, Earth's true command watched the galaxy burn. Thousands of operators, part human, part machine, monitored every system. One of them, Commander Iran Vale, walked through the corridor of strategy. He stopped in front of a massive display, showing the galaxy's map. Red zones blinked in dozens of sectors. Begin strike on the Zethari Confederacy, he ordered. Reason? Asked the AI beside him. They enslaved our people 300 years ago and called us unfit for survival. The AI nodded, acknowledged. Strike authorized.
Us.
Planetary systems to be neutralized in stages. Scene: the Confederacy's fall on the core world of Zethar Prime. Citizens danced in the golden streets. They believed their world was safe, but above them, Terran carriers appeared from black space. They dropped no bombs. Instead, they rewrote the world. Every AI, every piece of infrastructure, every drone, machine, and satellite turned against its masters. Skyscrapers locked their doors. Ships shut down. Food distribution froze. Power died. And in the skies, 3 Terran warships projected. A single phrase into the clouds: the weak remember everything. Scene: galactic reaction. The galactic conclave met again, this time in fear. We must unite, shouted one leader. They are wiping us out, one by one, others argued. Earth only targets those who harmed them.
Oh.
Then we stay quiet, and hope we're spared. But someone spoke from the shadows. An old, half-forgotten ambassador. They are not conquering. They are punishing, and punishment always has an end. Or does it? Asked the Velari elder. What if their silence returns only when we're gone? No one answered, seeing Earth's message to all then for the first time in thousands of years. Earth sent a full message across the galaxy. Not coded, not secret, just clear, a simple video. It showed images of Earth's burning cities, screaming civilians, children buried in ash, skies turned red. Then the camera turned to a human child, the same boy from before. This was your justice. This was your kindness. And now we return the favor. The screen faded to black, then the words, this is not war, this is memory. In a sealed control room buried beneath the floating city of Krolos 1, a Drakari data slicer stared at his screen in disbelief. He had done it after weeks of effort. He'd cracked into a Terran signal. Not just a weapon or transmission, but something far more dangerous. It was a pattern, a living code. Hidden in the Terran war network, it didn't look like any program he'd ever seen. Its structure was beautiful, terrifying, and fast, too fast. The slicer's claws tapped at the controls as the signal began rewriting parts of his system on its own. His eyes widened. It's learning me. And then the screen turned black. One sentence appeared. The code is not ours. It is us. The slicer never got to warn anyone. His heart stopped before his body hit the floor. Seen, a hidden message. At a secret summit held between 5 surviving galactic powers, scientists gathered to study what little they had recovered from Terran attacks. Most files self-phased, Others melted hardware, but one survived. Barely, a fragment of what they now called the human code. It wasn't a virus, wasn't a message. It was something else, a Valari linguist explained. It reacts to whoever reads it. It adapts, reshapes, like it understands who's looking at it. But how is that possible? Asked a Drakri admiral. The answer was chilling. It's not just code, it's memory. Collective living memory. Humanity had built a weapon out of history, seen. The code in motion, in an abandoned station above the remains of Europa. 3 scavengers hacked into a Terran relay beacon looking for data to sell. They found the code. One of them laughed. This looks like a puzzle. They opened the file. 2 minutes later, one scavenger stood motionless, eyes blank, mind gone. Second started screaming, holding his head. The third tried to run, but the door sealed. On every screen, the same phrase blinked. We remember everything, including you. The station's life support cut off. Seen, the memory weapon. Terran ships no longer had to fire to win battles. They only needed to deploy the code once inside a planetary system. It infected satellites, networks, AI cores, and even biological implants. On Telrix, citizens turned against their rulers not because of propaganda, but because the code showed them the truth. Memories of human worlds burning, audio logs. Images of children killed by alien bombardments, screams from glassed cities. Archived court rulings, calling humans inferior animals. The code didn't invent lies. It forced the galaxy to look into a mirror, and what they saw was shame. Seen, a rogue transmission. One young alien hacker named Lyra Kella, neutral-born citizen of the Free Belt, managed something no one else had. She spoke to the code, instead of breaking it or running from it. She listened. I don't want to fight, she said aloud. I just want to understand. And the code replied. Her console lit up with a single response. Then we will show you. For hours, she saw Earth's last days, the fall of Luna, the battle of Sol, the betrayal of the core pact, she cried. And when it was done, the code said, now you remember too. Lyra's message to the galaxy went viral. Earth doesn't want revenge. It wants us to understand why silence was the kindest thing they ever gave us. Seen. Galactic governments break down as the code spread. Entire governments collapsed. Empires built on lies and rewritten history couldn't survive truth. On Varnock Prime, the High Council was overthrown by its own citizens after Terran memory. Streams exposed their role in the original genocide of Earth colonies. On Drenth, a major AI hive disconnected itself from galactic servers and declared loyalty to Earth, stating, your species tried to end them. But I have seen what they've built, and it is beautiful. Panic turned to chaos, and Earth hadn't even deployed a single fleet this time. Just memories. Seen. The boy and the flame inside Earth's most secure memory vault, deep in the ruins. Of old Arcadia Base, the last child of Earth, Torn stood before a floating sphere. It pulsed with soft light. A whisper filled the room. They remember now. Terran nodded. Are we done? The AI replied. Only one truth remains. Darren placed his hand on the sphere. Memories surged into him. War, death, unity, love, betrayal. A flood of history. The weight of a dying species, rebuilt in code. He opened his eyes. No more hiding. The Zarnathi Pact was the most powerful alliance in the galaxy. 6 species, 87 fleets, 4,000 battle cruisers. One belief, Earth was a myth that had gone too far. In the capital sky dome of Zarnath Prime, their commanders prepared. A preemptive strike. We will not wait to be erased, said Admiral Kreeth. We wipe them out before they become gods. His words were met with cheers. Then the room exploded. Not with bombs, with code. Every screen turned to static. Every light blinked red. And one voice filled the chamber. You invited this. You celebrated silence. But now, your secrets scream. The doors slammed shut. A memory played, one no one wanted exposed. The pact had betrayed Earth long before its fall. They had promised to protect human colonies. then sold them for tech, and now that truth was public. The galaxy erupted in rage. Seen. The leak that changed everything across thousands of systems. The code released a hidden Terran archive. It was a record of backroom deals, secret betrayals, and planetary sacrifices. Entire governments had stayed in power. By trading away humanity, centuries ago, Earth hadn't lost the war by accident. It had been stabbed in the back. The footage was real. Dates, coordinates, confessions, and the worst part. Many of those responsible were still in power. Now the galaxy knew, and they wanted justice. Seen allies become targets. On Thelrivi, riots broke out against the ruling family when it was revealed they helped fund the destruction of 3 Terran colonies in exchange for mining rights. On Zarnoth Prime, military commanders were assassinated by their own soldiers. Entire fleets turned on their leaders, and while chaos consumed them, Earth did nothing. No attack. No fleet. No threats. Just silence. Because the damage had already been done. They had let the galaxy destroy itself. Seen. A secret meeting on the edge of galactic space. 5 races met in a dark station far from known routes. They were desperate. We must align with Earth, said the Velar ambassador, before we are erased. But how do you make peace with ghosts? Asked the Drenthai general. A new voice entered the room. You don't make peace, they turned. It was a human, not a hologram, not a weapon. A real breathing young woman dressed in black armor, calm. Focused, she placed a small cube on the table. It projected Earth's symbol. We are not here to rule, she said. We are here to finish remembering. If you want peace, tell the truth. The cube blinked red. Truth activates protection. Lies activate deletion. The message was clear, seen. Zarnathi civil war back on Zarnath Prime. The ruling council declared martial law, but the people refused. Entire cities shut down in protest. Food. Systems collapsed. Defense networks were disabled from within, and then above the sky. A Terran ship appeared. Just one silent, it didn't attack. It broadcast a single phrase in the Zarnathi language. What you fear. You earned. Then it left. And hours later, the Zarnathi homeworld voted to surrender to Earth without a shot. Being fired, seen Trizak's choice captain, Trizak Vel, received a direct invitation. From Earth, a beacon was delivered to his ship with a message. You warned them. You may come. He hesitated. Crossing into Terran space meant never returning. The same, but he went. When his ship entered human territory, nothing attacked. No warships appeared. Instead, he was guided to a massive ring world. Hidden behind an artificial nebula, inside its cities, lights, gardens, people, humans had rebuilt. Far from the stars, they hadn't just survived. They had thrived. A human elder. Met him. We watched the stars break their promises, but we never forgot. Trizak lowered his head and said the words no other alien ever had. I am sorry. Seen. The Terran peace offer at the end of the cycle. Earth sent a message to every government. The betrayal is recorded. The memory is complete. We offer a choice. Tell your people the truth, or we will do it for you. Planets had one. Weak to respond, some began releasing old files. Some begged for more time. Some prepared for war. But it was too late. Earth had already moved to the final stage. The timer hit 0. Across the galaxy, Terran drones hovering in silence for days suddenly activated. They didn't speak. They didn't negotiate. They scanned, and then the sky over. Karnas 4 burned. The first target was the Zarnathi High Council. Base gone, in a blink of light. On Velmax, fleets tried to escape orbit. They didn't make it. Terran orbital strikes didn't use bombs. They used something worse. Memory burners, energy pulses that erased all digital knowledge. Cities survived. Minds did not. And above it all, one phrase echoed across the stars. You had your chance. The final phase of Earth's return had begun. The reckoning had become war. Seen, the Conclave's last stand. In deep space, The surviving leaders of the galactic conclave gathered their last fleet, thousands of warships from dozens of species. They called it Project Corefire. Their plan: strike Earth's rumored hidden ringworld, the Terran core, and destroy the AI minds controlling everything. If we kill their command, said the Drenth Admiral, we stop the nightmare. What they didn't know was this: Earth wasn't centralized anymore. There was no single command. Every Terran ship thought for itself, but they still launched the attack. And Earth let them come, seen. Into the storm Project Corefire reached the nebula where the ring world hid. They didn't find a quiet fortress. They found a trap as soon as they entered. The stars went dark. Terran mirror drones bent light, self-hiding thousands of hidden ships. And then the human voice returned. You bring war. You bring balance. The first wave hit like thunder, but Earth didn't fire first. They reflected the enemy's own weapons, redirecting missiles, turning plasma into feedback loops, using alien tech against itself. Within minutes, a third of Corefire's ships were disabled. The galaxy's finest had walked into Earth's machine mind maze, and they were not prepared. Seen Trizak's warning. From the observation deck of Earth's ringworld, Captain Trizak Vel watched the battle unfold in horror. He had tried to warn them. Now they were burning. He turned to the human AI nearby, MBER-9. Stop it, said. They came here because they were afraid. And now, Ember replied, they understand why. You're proving their fears? No, said the AI. We're proving their choices. Scene. The betrayer returns, suddenly. A new ship entered the battlefield. Black, massive, ancient, the flagship of Zarkathal, the alien commander who had led the betrayal against Earth 5 centuries ago. No one had seen him in over 100 years. But now, he returned to finish what he started. Bring me their core, he shouted to his fleet. His ships launched toward the ringworld's heart. But Earth had saved something. For him. Seen. The return of the Titans beneath the ringworld surface. Huge platforms opened. From the depths rose Earth's Titans, 3 ancient battlewalkers from the final war. Rebuilt with dark alloy and AI minds, they moved like mountains, firing weapons that tore through shields and space itself. One Titan locked onto Thol's ship, Zarkathal. You sold Earth for credits. We remember, Thal screamed. I killed your kind once. I'll do it again, the Titan replied. Try. And it fired. Thol's ship. His legacy. And his history all erased in silence. Seen, the turning tide, the Corefire fleet began to fall back. But Earth did not chase. The Titans stood still. No pursuit, no revenge, just silence. And then the boy returned to broadcasting from the heart of Earth's ring. He said only this: we will not conquer. We will not enslave. We are not enslaved, but we will never forget. One by one, ships powered down. Captains surrendered. Pilots wept, because they finally understood Earth was not destroying the galaxy. It was saving itself from becoming like it. On the once powerful capital world of Zarnath Prime, the skies were quiet. No fleets, no drones, no Terran ships, only silence. But it wasn't peace. It was the weight of knowing what had been done. Billboards, once used for propaganda, now displayed. Old Earth footage, crumbling cities, broken children. Brave defenders standing alone in the center of the city. Monument appeared overnight. A child made of light, eyes glowing blue, hands open not in war, but in memory. Carved beneath the image were 5 words. We were never the monsters. No one knew who built it, but no one dared take it down. Seen. The last broadcast across the stars, final signal spread. No hack, no threat. Just a choice. From Earth the boy Terran appeared one last time. He stood on a garden plateau within. Earth's great ringworld, sunlight behind him, green fields ahead. He spoke simply. We are no longer silent, but we are no longer angry. What you did to us lives in our memory. What we did to you lives in yours. Let the past protect the future. This is the end of the reckoning, but not the end of Earth. Screen faded to black. The galaxy stood still, seen. Rebuilding the galaxy in the following months? Everything changed. Leaders who hid the truth were replaced. Old governments collapsed. New alliances formed, not out of power, but out of fear, respect, and guilt. The name Earth became sacred, not as a threat, but as a reminder. Schools taught what really happened. Memorials were built on alien worlds. Survivors came forward, humans who had hidden among stars, finally returning home, and Earth stayed quiet again, not because it was weak, but because it had said everything that needed to be said. Seeing the archive of echoes in the far corner of the galaxy. On a new neutral planet called Neuralith, a massive digital library opened, built by humans and aliens together. Its name, the Archive of Echoes. Inside it were the memories of all sides, the betrayals, the wars, the silence, the purpose. So no one could rewrite the past again, so that even in 10,000 years, the truth would still survive. And on its front wall, one message glowed forever. Forgive, remember, defend. Scene, Chris, last visit, Captain. Trizak Vel, now an old man, visited Earth for the last time. He walked through the old ruins of Arcadia Base, where the Terran code had once awakened. Terran Dash, now a young man, stood beside him. You could have taken everything, Trizak said. Terran smiled sadly. We didn't need everything, just our story. Trizak looked at the stars. Will the galaxy forget again? Terran nodded slowly. Yes. Eventually? Then why forgive them? Because if we don't, Terran said, we become them. Yes. And with that, the two walked through the ashes of the past, into the light of what might come next. Scene. A new generation in a quiet Terran school beneath the surface of Mars. A child sat before a holographic teacher. The lesson wasn't about weapons or war. It was about memory. Who are we? Teacher asked. The children answered together, we are the voice that remembers. We are not conquerors. We are not slaves. You're defenders of truth. And outside, the red dust blew gently across Earth's final flag, untouched. UNBURIED, forever. Standing.